All right, welcome back. And now I'm going to do another kind of negative space exercise. This kind is where instead of drawing lines, you start with each shape individually and you kind of fill from the center inward or outward until you get to where you think the edge is going to be of that shape, and then you stop there. Now, I did a little bit of pre-drawing as a way to kind of speed up this process, kind of similar to the pre-drawing I did in the last demo video. But like the last demo video, I want to emphasize that those all those kind of pre-lines are a starting point, but I still have to make the decision in the moment. Such as like right there, I made that shape a lot smaller than I had originally put it when I thought I was drawing it linearly. So here in this larger shape, you can kind of more clearly see the principle of starting from the center and working your way to the edge. This helps ensure that you're really conscious about all the shape, all the area and all the decisions about the shape, and you make the decision about its contour last rather than as a starting point for that shape. So there was a question after the last video about what I said about not drawing the outside edge, outside line, and whether that still would be considered a negative space. And yes, definitely, like all of this area out here is negative space in the relationship of this drawing. But by drawing the internal negative shapes first, it forces you to focus on the abstract and focus on them as shapes, and you're more likely to be accurate that way. As opposed to if you try to draw the outside negative space shape first, you're more likely to think about, well, I'm drawing a stack of a stool and a chair. That's another example of a shape that I reduced in scale based on decisions I made in the process of drawing it as a shape. I think you'll find it's very revealing that when you're looking at these shapes, all the negative space shapes, just individually as a shape, you see them much more accurately, and much differently than what you might do otherwise. Another question was about, there were places where when I was drawing just the single chair, where like the arm overlapped the seat of the chair, and why I didn't treat the seat of the chair at that point as a negative space shape. And I mean, there are all kinds of different ways you could approach this, but I think for these beginning kind of exercises, it's really helpful to basically just treat everything that is the thing, right? This whole thing, the whole stack, right, as positive, and therefore blank, where we don't draw it, and everything that is not the thing, the space behind, is the negative area, but then we draw it. We treat that as an active. After a certain point, there's not much to say on a drawing like this. Sorry that it gets kind of quiet. Because you're going center inward into the positive thing, it gives you a chance to a degree to reshape the positive as you get closer and closer to done. We can maybe decide as we scale the negative space shapes up a little bit, then they might also scale down the width of the legs. It's important not to worry too much about it. Like if you'll notice, sometimes things will wind up not quite lining up the way you would have hoped. And that is perfectly okay. What's more important is that for each negative space shape, you tried really hard to see that accurately.
You're at 7:30.
All right. Sometimes there's something entirely new that you notice about a shape.
Okay.
8:30? All right. Probably not gonna have time to finish this drawing in this demo, but hopefully you get roughly the sense. Maybe I'll take a photograph of the finished version later and post it for the class. There are examples of student versions of these kinds of assignments on Canvas under Files, and later this week I'll make a lecture of those. I'm just going to speed things up a little bit just to give everyone a general idea of where this drawing would go. We're at 9 minutes?
9:20.
9:20, all right. All right, we're going to end there. Thank you.